Welcome to Dark Docent. My name is Jake. Join me as I guide my friend James down the paranormal rabbit hole, attempting to prove the authenticity of a new case each week. Today's case: the Rendlesham Forest Incident. How are we doing today, James?
You know, I'm pretty good. How are you?
Not bad, buddy. Not bad. I'm pretty excited today.
Why is that?
Because we have been doing this podcast officially for one whole year.
Today is the 1 year, hey?
Actually, last week. But I forgot to tell you about it.
Happy 1 year and a bit, Jake.
Happy 1 year and a bit. As we are recording, it's our 1 year. When this episode comes out, it'll be a week after.
So it's not the 1 year yet?
Almost. I'm trying to time it.
What a fucking roller coaster.
I'm timing it for when the episode comes out. It's hard when you're not doing a show live, brother.
I'm live. I'm here right now. I'm trying to figure out what year it is.
It's 2026.
All right.
Our 1 year anniversary is this weekend.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Never thought we'd make it this far.
I'm glad we did.
I never thought I'd say yes to episode 1.
I know. I had to push you through. I knew I had you after Loch Ness, though. After we did episode 2.
Yeah. A lot of convincing, a little bit of blackmail.
Only a healthy amount of blackmail. Every good relationship needs a healthy amount of blackmail. But yeah, no, I'm excited. We've done this for a whole year. We've not gone far. We have made no money.
And you know what? We have another big announcement to go along with that. We're starting True Crime Tuesdays.
No, I will not be doing that.
All right, we're not doing True Crime Tuesdays. Sorry.
I'm very sorry. We'll not be doing True Crime Tuesdays. But
True Crime Wednesdays?
No. But we may have some more announcements coming up in the coming weeks. So everybody stay tuned to that. For now, we have a new logo. And we have new music. So we'll go with that.
Hey, that's something.
That's something.
That's what $0 gets us.
New logo.
New music. Homemade. All of it.
All of it. DIY, brother.
Yeah. Can't even afford to pay a guy on Fiverr.
What's that?
It's where you pay someone $5 to do something for you.
That's a thing?
Yeah, it's called Fiverr.
I've never heard of that. But I have to look it up.
Some pretty hilarious things for $5.
That's how I got you on this podcast.
And direct deposit should hit any minute now.
We're still waiting. First, I need to get $5. If you are enjoying our show, please follow us wherever you're listening. Rate us wherever you're listening.
Please, it takes 3 seconds. It helps so much. Please.
It does help a lot. And when I know a lot of people say, follow and rate, it helps a lot. And they don't really explain why. I'll explain to you why. I think there is some algorithm to it. Like if someone's getting rated higher and stuff, it goes through things. But it's more important that when this show pops up on someone's feed and they want to take a look at it, if you were looking for a new podcast and you found a podcast and it had 2 5-star ratings and no real audience or listenership, you probably wouldn't give that one a chance. But if you find one that has some ratings, has a small audience, you might give that one more of a chance. Makes people want to join in more. So if you really want to help us out, it costs you no money and takes you very little time. Give us a rate, give us a follow, and we'll pay you back by continuing making these episodes for you.
Maybe if you're lucky, we'll send you $5.
Maybe. That's what you should do. I'll rate your podcast for $5 on Fiverr.
Nope. For a chance at $5.
Oh, a raffle. Are we going to do a raffle?
Wait, we have to be very careful with our legal terminology.
Mm-hmm.
There is no guarantee anybody is getting any money from us, period.
Yeah.
Somebody might. Once upon a time.
Somebody might get $5.
At some point, maybe.
That could be you.
Wink. It could be me. I hope it's me.
Or one of the people in the audience that I was referring to.
Oh, the royal you.
The royal you. But other than that, thank you all for listening. Happy 1 year to Dark Docent, and we're hoping for many more.
Thank you very much. You're not getting $5. But we would still appreciate a 5-star. Or a 4 if you kind of hate us a little bit. No less, please.
Way to sell it, James. Anyway, it's been a good year. It's been a big year. We've had ups, we've had downs. We've semi-convinced you of some things. You've berated me for a lot of things. So I wanted to bring you a case today. Not one that we could just laugh off and screw around with, like just a cryptid case with no evidence.
You want to bet?
Sure.
That I can't laugh off and screw it up or whatever you said?
That you could just deny this one with no evidence? Do you want to lose $5?
I haven't lost it if I haven't got it.
Well, I wanted to bring you a big case. And because this is a big case, I, of course, got some help from our on-call researcher, Daria.
Shout out to Daria.
Shout out to Daria, or as you called her, Big D. But with that, James, I got a story for you. We are in Suffolk, England, December 26th, 1980. We are on RAF Woodbridge. This is an Air Force station that's actually US controlled on English soil. And it has a twin Air Force station called Bentwaters not too far from it. These were called the twin stations at the time. It was a cold and quiet night. And few airmen were on the base, just doing their rounds, making sure no one was breaking in. You know, typical security. When one of the guards, Airman John Burroughs, notices something strange in the far-off woods. Him and his partner notice bright, emulating lights that are sinking down into the trees. They thought maybe it was a downed aircraft, but the lights were too bright, and they were pulsating too erratically. They called the base at the nearest post, asking for permission to investigate a possible downed aircraft in the woods. So they thought that this would be worth investigating, but they wanted to bring down some higher-ups to go with them to see what was happening. Staff Sergeant Jim Peniston and Airman Edward Cabansang went to the East Gate themselves. They began to ask the guards about the crash they'd seen. That's when one guard, Bud Steffens, replied, "It didn't crash. It landed." Peniston got the base to radio every airport and airbase in the area, asking them, was there any aircraft in the area that could have caused this? Anything that picked up on radar? Any downed craft? They called every airport, every military operation, everything they could find. And everyone said there were no aircraft in the area at the time that they said they saw the lights. But there was a strange ping they got. Some bases reported a strange blip on their radar that went across the entire 60-mile area that this radar could pick up in a matter of 2 seconds. This blip was going at speeds of thousands of miles an hour, and none of the aircraft could go that speed, and this aircraft was not marked as anything they knew. Also, Bentwaters Air Base, the twin air base of Rendlesham, also stated that there was something strange on their radar, but it moved at such speed that they thought it was a glitch. And another base that said they found something strange on radar said that it disappeared once it reached Rendlesham Forest, the forest outside Woodbridge Air Base. That was enough for them to investigate what was going on. Jim Peniston, John Burroughs, Master Sergeant Chandler, and Airman Edward Cabansang all got into a Jeep and drove out to Rendlesham Woods. When they got there, Cabansang stayed with the vehicle, while the other 3 men entered the woods. As they entered the forest, seeing the strange light bleeding through the trees, their radios began to malfunction. They couldn't walk 2 feet away from each other without their radios cutting off, and they had no contact with their base. So Peniston instructed Chandler to return to the Jeep and tell Cabansang what had happened. Burroughs and Peniston were now alone in the woods, with strange lights pulsating in the distance. Another thing to add is that they're technically on British soil now. Since they're off the airbase, they're not legally allowed to carry their weapon, so they don't have anything on them to defend themselves. As they moved through the woods, the lights only got brighter. This didn't seem like a crashed aircraft or the flashlights of someone trying to trespass on the base. Also, as they got closer, the air became static. They noticed it become hard to walk. It felt like they were walking through waist-high water. They eventually tried to break through this, though, and they broke through the tree line into a rounded clearing. In front of them was a blinding light. As they stepped towards the light, a blast of white light hit them. They hit the ground, thinking that it was some kind of explosion. But after a few seconds, they realized it was just a bright pulse of light. No sound, no explosion, no fire. Peniston slowly stood up, and when he looked where the lights were coming from, he didn't see a downed plane. He saw a black triangular craft. This is the start of one of the most famous UFO encounters of all time, and has come to be known as Britain's Roswell. James, have you heard of the Rendlesham Forest incident?
I sure haven't.
I'm surprised you haven't, actually.
No, this one's not ringing any bells to me. I have been seeing lots of black triangle craft stuff on Instagram recently, though.
Black triangles are a type of UFO that people see.
I've been seeing them more as like US or Boeing aircraft or whatever.
Mhm.
Like us technology to a degree.
Yes. There's been a lot more triangular crafts nowadays, and some semi-classified crafts that people talk about that are triangular. But this is in 1980, and we didn't have anything similar to this in 1980.
No.
And I'll get into, at the moment, it just seems like a triangular craft. It could be a stealth bomber. But I'll get into more of the weird parts of the story, because this story branches out into strange places.
Do you think it could have been a dream? I've tried running in a dream, and it feels like you're running through waist-high water.
See, you could say it was a dream, James.
Yep.
But this case has over 80 witnesses that have come forward. Not just people on the airbase, but people on the Twin Air Base, and also local farmers in the area.
Damn.
Yeah, we got a lot of witnesses on this one.
Jeremy Clarkson himself.
Maybe he was just flying the craft.
He's my favorite English farmer.
The craft was on the ground on 3 legs, although they couldn't discern if it was on 3 legs or if it was just slightly hovering. It was about the size of a car, about 9 feet tall and 9 feet wide in a perfect equilateral triangle. It had rounded edges and a strange hump on top of the craft, and it had multicolored lights pulsating from it, specifically red from the sides and blue from the bottom, with a yellowish white light that seemed to come from the hump, which illuminated all the trees around the area. As Peniston got closer, the surface of the craft appeared to be like black glass, and it was completely silent. The men walked up closely to it, and they said as if it felt like the entire area was statically charged, and that there was a light vibration going through their bodies. But they said that that vibration was more felt than heard. And as they got closer, Peniston noticed that it had strange hieroglyphics all along the sides of the craft. That's when Jim Peniston's curiosity got the better of him. He turned to yell at Burroughs, who was about 10 feet behind him. But when he turned, Burroughs was frozen on the spot. He wasn't responding to it. Also, all of the area, the wind, and anything that was going on around it, all the animals, everything, went completely silent. Peniston tried to radio the base, but he only received silence in return. He walked closer to the craft, reached out his hand, and touched it. He said it was warm, almost as if it was alive. The surface was smooth to the touch, but as he grazed his fingers over the hieroglyphics, they were rough like sandpaper. But after touching the craft, another bright white flash came from the top of the craft, bursting out. This blinded Peniston for a moment, and he backed away suddenly from the craft. After a minute or so, the craft suddenly started to lift, without any propulsion or dust. It started to go up, reached just above the tree line, and then shot off in an instant. The men were shaken and confused at what they saw. They didn't really know what to make of this thing. They knew that Americans didn't have any technology like this. This was the height of the Cold War. They thought maybe it was a Russian craft, which is why there was so much emergency and worry about this, but they were stunned. They also figured, they've been away from the base for a while, they've had no contact. They looked at their watches. It had been about 10 minutes. So they decided to go back to the airbase. But as they got back and broke the tree line to the Jeep, Cabin Sang wasn't there, and their radios turned back on. The base was in a panic. They didn't know where Peniston or Burroughs were. They radioed in that they're here, they're outside the woods. They were immediately greeted by several soldiers. The soldiers were saying, "Where were you? We were trying to find you." Peniston said, "Why? We've only been gone 10 minutes. No. You were missing for 45 minutes. Looking down at their watches, they were frozen at the moment they encountered the craft. The watches were done, dead, broken, just like how we saw in the Betty and Barney Hill case. So we have about 35 minutes of missing time.
I was thinking as soon as you mentioned that Buddy was frozen and that there was no radio contact, that he was in some sort of time bubble thing.
Yes. And Burroughs actually said he saw something different. He doesn't remember the triangular craft as much. And he doesn't remember being there for minutes. He says that the whole thing lasted a few seconds. And what he saw was a big red ball, similar to a shining, blinding sun. And within an instant, this ball was above the treetops and shot off. It was almost like he blinked and it was there. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
They weren't the only people with experiences. Other airmen at both Bendwaters and Woodbridge confirmed that they saw lights in the sky. 2 men allegedly tried to chase the lights in their Jeep, but they were hit with a blinding light, which turned their Jeep off and it wouldn't restart. These are other things we've seen in other cases. And the really interesting thing about this case, James, is Peniston had a notepad with him. And while the craft was blinding him with light, he was drawing the symbols and what the craft looked like. Would you like to see those pictures?
You mean drawings? I would love to see those drawings.
Yes, drawings.
And I will, but I will compare them to Christopher's drawings.
Okay, just know
Yep.
he was drawing these
Yep.
while he was getting hit with blinding light.
Okay, so they're bad.
Not necessarily.
How would you compare them to all those kids' UFO drawings from the aerial school?
Better than that. Here are images of the alleged hieroglyphs that were seen on the side of the craft.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
I won't try to describe them because I can't, because they're just kind of like
They're almost
random,
alien.
They're random abstract shapes scribbled on a tiny little notepad.
Here's the thing.
It
Yes.
was dark. There was a light in his eyes. He was running. We're happy he saw anything.
We are. But also,
Yep.
he later drew what the craft looked like. And I have that image for you as well.
Swear to God, if it looks like a UFO. That is a much better drawing.
He doesn't have blinding light in his eyes.
And also not quite what I was expecting.
Yeah, it's like a triangle with a hump on top.
Yeah, a triangle with like a pyramid on top.
Strange, isn't it?
Quite.
Yes.
I'd almost describe it like a slice of pie with a dollop of whipped cream on top.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. That does that's pretty on point. The next day, the word about this obviously went around the base very quickly. And a lot of the men were making light of the situation. Lots of them were stopping Burroughs and Peniston in the hall saying, what was it like being up all night chasing UFOs? However, not only did military go out and investigate the area, but also police were called to investigate the area.
The bobbies.
The bubbies, as our British listeners would call them. Here's the thing, James.
Yeah.
The police did find strange indentations in the ground where the craft allegedly landed. And the measurements are astonishing. 9 feet by 9 feet by 9 feet. The same measurements that Peniston reported from seeing the craft. Also, there was 4-inch diameter imprints in the ground on each corner of the triangle.
It's a little smaller than I would have expected.
It's not that big. It's a really small craft. Police didn't know what to make of this, and they actually claimed that this maybe could have been animal burrows. The thing is that they're perfectly 9 feet apart in a triangle where a UFO allegedly landed. And they weren't holes, they were indentations. And I have pictures of those for you.
Hell yeah.
Now, I don't believe these were from the same investigation. This was investigated several times over. We've had several military out here, and within the coming months, more people would come out here and look. Here is one of the indentations.
I don't know what I expected.
Here's another one of the indentations.
What I'll tell you about the first two is I'm glad there was a circle around them because I wouldn't be able to tell it was there.
It is hard to tell.
Old black and white 1980s photo of the ground.
It is very hard to tell. I will agree with that. There is one more image that at least shows you the measurements. So they put little hash marks where the indentations were. There's one on the right, kind of hard to see, but it's by a person. Then there's another one up to more the northern part of the image, and then one more down to the bottom left.
Oh my god.
I understand. They don't seem like much.
I was using one of the smaller images down below that had 3 dots on it and just taking its word for it because I can't see anything.
They're not the best images. I will fully agree with that. But the thing is...
I believe it, though.
The thing is that indentations were found where a UFO allegedly landed. That's the interesting part.
Yeah.
And they were equally spaced apart.
There's photos of something on the ground, and there's a photo of people there looking at the ground. I have no reason to doubt it.
And also, they didn't look like animal burrows to me. I don't think those were animal burrows.
Definitely hard to say.
There was no distinct hole.
There's no distinct anything.
There's something there. Anyway.
Yep.
Here's the thing. The police and soldiers in the area all stated that these indentations were there. They also stated that the branches in the trees were all snapped off, all the way to the top, where this craft allegedly lifted off. So we have broken branches and an indentation where a UFO allegedly was. More than what we normally get.
Big weather balloon kind of bounced off the ground, kept going.
Big weather balloon, eh?
Yeah.
That had a bright light on it.
You ever seen them? They're pretty big.
They are pretty big.
You know what that light's for?
What?
So you know it's there. You don't crash into it.
Well, it didn't work. It made people investigate it. You ever seen an anglerfish? Don't put lights on things. It'll attract dumb people to find it. Then they get eaten.
Well, I think the point of the weather balloon is so you do find it, you know?
Maybe. I don't know.
That way you don't crash into it, like I said.
Well, it crashed into something else instead. So,
it did.
Here's the thing.
Yep.
This is all over the base between Boxing Day evening and the morning of December 27th. The next day, Deputy Commander Charles Holt checked into the base and immediately began hearing stories about all the airmen chasing UFOs the night before. Holt wanted a report done on the incident and asked them to specifically refer to it as, quote, unexplained lights and not UFO to avoid ridicule and stigma.
Well, considering the amount of ridicule there already is in the base, that's understandable.
Yes. A little more about Charles Holt. He's a Vietnam vet, and he did not give a shit about UFOs at all prior to this. To him, it was like, get a report done. Do not say saucer, UFO, anything like that. Say strange lights, unexplained lights, and you hand the report to me. Okay?
Yeah, don't fucking humiliate us.
Exactly. And also, he took this a little more seriously because he thought this could be a threat to national security. And if someone began labeling it UFO, he feared it would be taken seriously.
UK's national security or the US's?
US's national security, but also this base was kind of like a defense base in case Russia tried anything. So this base is US controlled and technically US soil.
Yeah.
But Bentwaters, the twin base, is the Royal Air Force base. So that's the British SAS forces.
Right.
Which is why they couldn't bring their weapons out from their base when they went to go look at the lights. But here's the thing, is that this base was supposed to be defense against anything Russia did. But, unknowing to the public at this time, Woodbridge was a location for classified nuclear material. So this is a nuclear base that's classified to the public, and they just saw a strange UFO craft land just outside it. So this is a bigger deal to the higher-ups than it is to all the soldiers joking about it. Base Commander Ted Conrad began going around collecting everyone's reports, and he classified all the reports as secret. Now, Holt wanted to be involved in this, but it actually went over his head and all the reports went to higher-ups that remained unnamed and didn't get back to Halt. So people were all talking about this, but basically what came down to it was they kind of written it off as lights. People saw lights. Don't worry about it. It was nothing. You guys saw things, sort of thing. That's just been written off. What are you thinking about this so far? Do you think what do you think? Do you think anyone saw anything? Do you think it's all made up?
I mean, it sounds fairly real so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had that photo of a handful of people looking at the ground there.
Yes.
But I guess at the same time, there's a couple lads said they wandered into the woods and saw something, and they were gone for 10 minutes, and then everyone's like, "No, you weren't."
Yeah, you were gone for 45 minutes.
Yeah, there's a couple doofuses fucking off and doing their own thing for a bit in line, you know?
Just went into a
When your
place
boss asks you where you were, and you're like, "Oh, I was definitely working for sure."
not chasing UFOs.
Yeah, I saw these lights in the sky, and I just followed them on foot into the forest. You have to believe me.
Okay. Well, the thing is that they're not the only ones who saw the lights. We have 80 people who have come forward about the lights on Woodbridge. We also have people who saw it at Brentwaters, and we also have farmers in the area who also saw the lights.
We haven't covered that yet.
But I said that they have been. I've already mentioned it.
Well, you did mention it, but I thought we were gonna. I didn't know if we were gonna dig deeper into that or not.
Eventually.
Okay. Fact check plausible at the moment.
Fact check plausible. After this day, the reports were collected, sent to the higher-ups, and it became just a topic of light conversation. It was a good time, too, because December 28th, that was the Christmas party. All the boys are kind of excited, talking about UFOs, hanging out, having some drinks, having some food. Everyone's in the mess hall, having a great time.
Eggnogging it up.
Eggnogging it up, talking about saucers. That's when Lieutenant Bruce England arrived in a panic. He burst open the doors and rushed to Commander Halt. Halt looked at him like, what's your deal? What's wrong? Bruce pulled him to one side and said, "Sir, the UFO is back." There were lights outside the base again. This time, Lieutenant Halt, the deputy base commander, went out with a team. Sergeant Monroe Nevels and Master Sergeant Bobby Ball. He instructed the sober troops to begin shooting spotlights up into the sky. But as they went out to start the spotlights, all of them malfunctioned at the same time. They couldn't get the lights working.
Maybe if they had more Christmas spirit. This is clearly a Santa Claus who's stuck in the area.
On December 28th?
Yeah.
Okay.
You think he just blinks out of existence after the 25th?
I just think he stayed home in the Arctic.
He hasn't made it there yet. He's trapped.
Well,
Broken down, just like an elf.
okay, there's an easy way to justify or find any credence to this theory.
Yeah.
See how many people got Christmas presents in 1980.
Yeah, he broke down on his way back.
On his way back.
Yep.
He was done.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So he was heading up and
also, I don't know if we could figure out how many people got Christmas presents in 1980.
I bet you I could. I'm going to Google it right now.
Let's see what AI says.
Okay, so there's no exact number of people who received Christmas presents in 1980. However, 1980 was a major year for commercial Christmas, marked by the massive popularity of the Rubik's Cube.
There's also Couch Patch Kids, the Atari 2600, and the Talking Viewmaster.
I'm guessing there was a lot of Christmas presents that year. And a lot of expensive ones. That was the start of no more choo-choos and stuff. That was the start of that was like the primitive days of what led to getting an iPod for Christmas.
I mean, it's all been built up since the beginning of time.
I guess so. This seemed like the one that turned it, though. This is when the yuppies got full control of the corporate America and started doing stuff.
1980, you heard it here first.
That's it. Anyway, back to UFOs.
So, yeah, we're not ruling it out. It could be Santa Claus.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind. It could be Santa Claus. I just want everyone to know who listens to this show, James thinks Santa Claus is more likely than...
It's up in the air at the moment.
Halt, Nevels, and Ball marched into the woods. They began walking to the initial landing site, and they found burnt marks on the ground, as well as scorched trees facing inward where the craft allegedly landed. Also, they had Geiger counters, and there were readings at the site 4 times higher than the usual radioactivity. They then began collecting samples from the indentations in the ground from the craft. And on their thermal cameras, they could still detect heat signatures from where these marks were and marks on the trees. That's when things began to take a dark turn. The nearby barnyard animals began freaking out. Then they saw it. A strange red ball of light, about a quarter mile away in the sky. They began walking a little closer to the edge of the clearing to get a better look. And that's when all the animals went silent. Here's the thing, James. Halt was known for bringing a tape recorder wherever he went. He had a tape recorder on him, and he was recording the entire thing as it happened. Would you like to hear that tape?
Sure. Let's give myself nightmares before I go to bed tonight.
Okay.
Looks like someone came off about 15 to 20 feet up. Some small branches about an inch or less in diameter. Within 148, we're hearing very strange sounds out of the farmers' barnyard animals. It's very, very active, making an awful lot of noise.
Wasn't a pigmentation.
You just saw a light where? Wait, no, it's where?
Right in this position here, straight ahead, in between the tree. There it is again. Watch, straight ahead off my flash right there. So there it is.
Hey, I see it too. What is it?
We don't know, sir.
So, can I get some? Yeah, it's a strange, small red light. Looks to be out maybe a quarter to half mile, maybe further out. I'm going to switch off. The light is gone now. It was approximately 120 degrees from the site. Is it back again?
Yes, sir.
We got the flashlights in. Let's move out to the edge of the clearing so we can get a better look at it. See if we can get the star scope on it. The light's still there, and all the barnyard animals have gotten quiet now. Yeah, we're heading about 110 to 120 degrees from the site out through to the clearing now. Still getting a reading on the meter. About 2 clicks. Maybe count 3 to 4 clicks, getting stronger.
Now it's dying.
No, it's not. I think it's something other than the ground. I think it's something variable here.
Got the tree right over.
We just found the first night bird we've seen. We're about 150 or 200 yards from the site. Everything else is just deathly calm. There is no doubt about it. There's some type of strange flashing red light ahead.
It's yellow.
I saw a yellow tinge in it too. Weird. It appears to be maybe moving a little bit this way. It's brighter than it has been.
Yellow.
It's coming this way. It is definitely coming this way. Pieces of it are shooting off. There is no doubt about it. This is weird.
To the left.
Yeah, definitely moving left.
Two lights. One light to the front,
Okay.
one light to the left.
Keep the flashlights off. There's something very, very strange. Get the headset on. See if it gets any stronger. Okay. Give us your rundown.
Notation that this is on a beta reading, too.
It's on a beta reading?
Beta
Okay.
still has been removed.
Okay. Pieces are falling off it again.
But it just moved to the right.
Yeah.
Off to the right.
Strange. Oh, well, why go left? Let's approach to the edge of the woods up there. Can you undo without lights? Let's do it carefully. Come on. Okay, we're looking at the thing. We're probably about 200 to 300 yards away. It looks like an eye winking at you. It's still moving from side to side. And when you put the star scope on it, it sort of has a hollow center, a dark center. It's like the pupil of an eye looking at you and winking. And the flash is so bright to the star scope that it almost burns your eye. We passed the farmer's house and across in the next field. Now we have multiple sightings of up to 5 lights with a similar shape and all, but they seem to be steady now rather than a pulsating or glow with a red flash. We just crossed the creek,
Here we go, strong.
and we're getting what kind of readings now? Getting 3 good clicks on the meter, and we're seeing strange lights in the sky. Here he comes from the south. He's coming toward us now. Now we're observing what appears to be a beam coming down to the ground. This is unreal.
What the hell?
What do you think of that, James?
I think everyone should listen to that entire thing because I doubt we're gonna put it all on here.
I am going to link it in the show notes.
Yeah. If there ever was a type of evidence that could be used to convince me, that would be it.
That was the thing that's even better about this is that was classified.
Yeah, so I do want to ask,
Mhm.
how the hell did we get that on YouTube?
I'll tell you.
Please do.
So after this event,
Oh, sorry, also.
Mhm.
Here at the beginning, one guy said, "Are we going to have a good day?"
Yeah.
That's weird.
I don't know if they knew what they were going to expect when they went out there.
Yeah.
According to guys after this, those things got within 20 feet of them shooting beams down. And it was all on tape recorded them. You hear them reacting like shit. Like you hear them fucking getting excited.
Those colors, shit.
Like you hear them reacting to it. Like you hear some fear in their voice. I think the eeriest part is when you hear that hum in the background, they all go silent for a moment.
I mean, obviously it's the design of how they're filmed, but it reminds me of a found footage film.
A little bit. Yeah. I mean, old tape recorders of anything is scary.
Yeah, like there was plenty of cuts and breaks in there as he stopped and started recording again.
Yes.
And I just, as I'm picturing it in my head, it's classic found footage.
Yeah.
But it's also like, it's not part of a movie. It's not from a movie or any actual footage. So it's like, seems like that would be a very difficult thing to quote unquote write like that.
Also, if this was fake, this was classified information. Why would they classify something that was fake?
Yeah. And now onto that. Sorry I interrupted. How the hell did we get that on YouTube?
Okay. So, first, for people at home, since they didn't hear the whole tape, I'm going to go through what everyone went through here.
Read the entire transcript, please.
I won't read the transcript, but this is what happened. The group followed the strange lights through Rendlesham Forest. At one point, a bright red orb hovered between the trees, pulsating like it was alive. They described it as a giant red eye with black ring around it. Charles Holt described it splitting into smaller pieces and then disappearing. Later, he said a beam of light came down from the sky and landed right in front of them. Over the radio, Burroughs heard that there was a second encounter and was asked to come and confirm if these were the lights he saw. So he got into a Jeep with the driver, and they began to drive towards the lights, when all of a sudden they were hit by a blinding light. In front of them was a strange blue light now blocking their path. They got out of the Jeep, and Burroughs began to walk towards the light. The light then engulfed him, and he disappeared for several minutes. When he returned from the light, he had no recollection of what happened while he was in the light, and it felt like he was just back. Over 80 men at both Woodbridge and Bentwaters have claimed to experience something on these nights. We have several people indicating that there was technical malfunctions, cars turning off, we have radar. Locals and farmers outside of the base claim to see the same lights. We found marks on the ground in the clearing where Jim Pennison said the craft had been. 3 impressions in a triangular pattern. The trees around the site showed signs of heat and radiation. The Geiger counter spiked higher than normal. Not dangerous, just strange.
Just adding to, the Geiger counter was reading on the sides of the trees around the impact, like towards the center of it, and then there was 0 reading on the back sides of the trees.
Very similar to Travis Walton and other cases like this.
Yeah.
Over the next few days, this story moved quietly through RAF Woodbridge and RAF Bentwaters. Now, some people dismissed it, while others were convinced that they had seen something not from this world. Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt eventually wrote an official memo describing what happened and sent it up the chain of command. That memo was later released by the UK Ministry of Defence in 1983 and became one of the most famous UFO documents ever published. I'm going to read that for you.
Please do.
So this is Unexplained Lights. This was written on January 13th of 1981.
Yeah.
This is a memo from Charles Holt. Early in the morning of the 27th of December 1980, approximately 0300, 2 USAF security police patrolmen saw unusual lights outside the back gate of RAF Woodbridge. Thinking an aircraft might have crashed or been forced down, they called for permission to go outside the gate to investigate. The on-duty flight chief responded and allowed 3 patrolmen to proceed on foot. The individuals reported seeing a strange glowing object in the forest. The object was described as being metallic in appearance and triangular in shape, approximately 2 to 3 meters across the base and approximately 2 meters high. It illuminated the entire forest with a white light. The object itself had a pulsating red light on the top and a bank of blue lights underneath. The object was hovering or on legs. As the patrolman approached the object, it maneuvered through the trees and disappeared. At this time, the animals on nearby farms went into a frenzy. The object was briefly sighted approximately an hour later near the back gate. The next day, 3 depressions, 1.5 inches deep and 7 inches in diameter, were found where the object had been sighted on the ground. The following night, 29th of December 1980, the area was checked for radiation. Beta/gamma readings of 0.1 milliroentgens were recorded with peak readings in the 3 depressions and near the center of the triangle formed by the depressions. A nearby tree had moderate 0.05 to 0.07 readings on the side of the tree toward the depression. Later in the night, a red sun-like light was seen through the trees. It moved about and pulsed. At one point it appeared to throw off glowing particles and then broke into 5 separate white objects and then disappeared. Immediately thereafter, 3 star-like objects were noticed in the sky. 2 objects to the north and 1 to the south, all of which were about 10 degrees off the horizon. The objects moved rapidly in sharp angular movements and displayed red, green, and blue lights. The objects to the north appeared to be elliptical through an 8 to 12 power lens. They then turned to full circles. The objects to the north remained in the sky for an hour or more. The object to the south was visible for 2 to 3 hours and beamed down a stream of light from time to time. Numerous individuals, including the undersigned, witnessed the activities in paragraphs 2 and 3. Charles Holt, USAF Deputy Base Commander.
Why do you think they brought a bunch of Geiger counters out with them immediately?
Well, that is something that was reported in other UFO cases. If there's differences in radioactivity, that's something that's brought about. Like,
Sure, but they have those handy, ready to go in the middle of the UK, and then it's like, let's grab those and bring them with us. We saw some lights over there.
it's a nuclear base. They have all the things they need there. It's a secret nuclear operation. You'd probably want Geiger counters with you.
Yeah, maybe.
So it's not like it's unheard of that Geiger counters are found on a nuclear base.
No, fair enough.
This is also 1980. This is 35 so years after Roswell. I mean, we have some information on aliens and UFOs at this point. Travis Walton was 5 years prior. Benny Barney Hill was 19 years prior. So, like, we have some experiences.
Yeah.
You know, just see what the readings are like. Because they had a whole bunch of stuff. They had thermal imaging cameras. They had a whole bunch of stuff with them. Not just that. They also were throwing, like, dirt and wood and testing tubes and stuff to test.
When was it that a lot of those crop circles were getting looked at?
1983.
How about that?
However, crop circles have been seen for thousands of years. They were mentioned also in the Book of Enoch.
Yeah, but when we were talking about them and getting readings and stuff.
Yes. The start of the phenomena, when it became popular in the zeitgeist, was 1983.
Right.
So about this time.
And also the reason I asked that was because most of our discussion was in the UK.
Yes. That's very true. Here's another thing. Is this case gets muddied a little quick here. And not in like the, oh, they're definitely lying sort of way. In the US government heard about this and was shutting people down right quick kind of way.
Yeah, back on to how this got onto YouTube.
Yes. So after this in 1980, several men wanted to come forward with statements. But the US government came in and said, you don't want to do that. Here, we've made a statement for you. All you have to do is sign the bottom of this paper and all your problems will go away and we can handle the rest. So a lot of men did that, is they just signed papers written for them and made those the official statement. The Halt memo was classified. They didn't want that out. Another thing strange is that first, none of the men from the second night were interviewed. The Ministry of Defense focused on the initial counter. Peniston and Burroughs were interviewed over a dozen times, and what they said was felt more like an interrogation. And half of those interviews, they were injected with truth serum and made to tell the truth about whatever happened at the incident. Truth serum is real.
Is it though?
It is. It's a real thing.
Is it though?
Yes. That's not even fake. That's real. You can look it up. There's a thing they can do for that. It's called, doesn't do like what you do in the TV shows where they make everyone tell extreme truth. It's basically like almost like a focused alcohol. But it's a truth serum.
Inebriates the person.
Kind of. Here, I'll look it up for you. Truth serum is a colloquial term for various psychoactive drugs, primarily sedatives and hypnotics, used historically to break down a person's inhibitions and compel them to reveal information. It is a thing.
Whack.
Here's the thing, is that truth serum, they're not considered to work consistently or produce truth consistently. Kind of like how a lie detector test works. How it's like, you can use it, people can test and fail it, but it's not foolproof.
Yeah, you're impairing somebody and then just banking on them telling you the truth and not just making something up.
Essentially. So this is apparently what they did to Peniston and Burroughs. Here's the reason it got out. After this, many of the men that were involved in this case began developing really bad health issues. For example, Burroughs developed a serious long-term heart condition. He had a severe heart murmur, many throat issues, deteriorating eyesight, and also a mitral valve heart failure that required surgery.
English food will do that to you.
Fish and chips, that's it.
Beans on toast. In it.
You kind of get why they left. No, but seriously, there's another thing other than British food that could do this to you, James. Radiation.
Yeah, but they had their Geiger counters out. There wasn't that much.
Yeah. These are the guys that touched the craft the first night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when it was
Those guys.
actually there and it wasn't just residual.
Oh, yeah, the guy that touched the fucking UFO.
Yes, those guys.
One thing you're not supposed to do with UFOs.
Yes. These guys had the health issues.
Jake,
Yes?
if you came across a UFO, would you touch it?
No. Are you fucking kidding me?
What?
No.
What?
No. I studied this shit. I'm not going to touch a UFO. Nothing good has ever come from touching a UFO.
The experience?
Cancer?
You can say you've touched a UFO.
Yeah, from my fucking hospice bed. I'm not going to touch a UFO.
We're all dying anyways. Why not die having touched a UFO? You know how many people get to touch them? Probably not that many.
You know how many people can touch them that don't have serious health issues with the government watching them? Probably not that many.
That could be you, though.
I don't want that to be me.
Just take some ivermectin. You'll be fine.
Okay, I'll get you to prescribe that for me.
Well, what was it? Cancer and parasites have similar mechanisms in the body, and the CIA knew that and covered it up. And now what has come out that ivermectin cures cancer?
Okay,
Probably very oversimplified and not true, but
it's extremely oversimplified and probably not true.
I saw it on Instagram, so it's real.
I'm good. Well, you should have said that first.
Yeah.
Now I fully believe you. I should just play you a minute-long reel for each one of these and just leave. That should be our podcast. It's more, you probably believe it more than me telling you all this stuff with a case study that I've studied for 2 weeks.
It has to be true if it's on Instagram. They fact check that shit.
And if it comes out of a mouth that isn't Jake's.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. All these people had worsening health issues.
Yep.
Well, Burroughs wanted to get his records and stuff for the hospital to show that he was here, and he wanted to say that he was like injured in battle or injured on the line of duty sort of thing, right? Well, the military said Jim Burroughs was never a soldier, and all of his records were not there. Here's the thing. He was. Because everyone at the base was like, yeah, he was. We were there. He was there. And then he was like, I know I was a soldier. There's pictures of me as a soldier. Like, I was a soldier.
Kind of like that Bob Laser guy.
Lazar, hold that thought. Here's the thing. He's like, well, can I have my medical records? Those were classified. Jim Burroughs' medical records were classified by the US government.
Seems inconvenient.
Extremely. So here's the thing. All of his documents were either not there or classified,
Yep.
including medical and military. But so he had to go to the doctor and get diagnosed with what was going on with him. Well, he was officially diagnosed to have symptoms of people blasted with high doses of radiation, specifically broadband non-ionizing electromagnetic radiation.
That is specific.
Very.
Quite the doctor.
Here's the thing. The only thing that could have done this is whatever happened at this base.
The only thing that could have done that was the UFO, and the doctor knew that?
At least whatever happened here.
Right.
Because this was ionizing radiation. This was consistent with what people said. There was, all this stuff. But here's where it got crazy. So this kind of radiation would come from like UV, microwaves, power lines, things like that.
Yeah.
The military did confirm that this happened in the line of duty and had to pay out all the soldiers that got injured that night, because it all went through court and all that. So this disclosed all the documents. However, Burroughs' medical records are still classified to this day. And that's when we got the memos. So everything came out, and we got all this stuff. However, we only got 17 minutes of the halt tape. There's actually 5 hours of that.
5 hours?
The rest of it is classified.
How much data could you have recording in 1980?
I don't know, but he had 5 hours of recordings, allegedly,
Damn.
according to Charles Halt.
Damn.
Now, another thing that's kind of interesting about this.
Yep.
This happened in December of 1980, specifically Boxing Day. You know what happened the same night as the second encounter? The Cash Landrum incident in Texas happened the same night on the other side of the world.
What the hell?
Weird, right? And they also got hit, but with ionizing radiation.
That'll get you.
It's just weird that both these happened like within a day. I think, personally, there's a lot to this.
I think it was the same UFO.
I think the Cash Landrum UFO
Mhm.
was a military experiment. I think this was more likely a extraterrestrial craft based on hieroglyphics and its propulsion. If you remember the Cash Landrum incident, the propulsion was more combustion engine. This one just floated and darted off like a UFO.
The multicolor lights seems like a weird thing.
Yes, but these lights have been confirmed in like other cases. Benny Barney Hill also talked about lights around the craft as well that changed from red to green to blue. So it's not the only time that a red, green, blue light has been seen.
I just don't know why it would have that for an alien craft.
I don't really know either. I don't think anyone can know. But I think it's something to do with maybe like hypnotizing or like startling them.
Something for fucking rallying up the animals.
Well, like look at Berkshire. Berkshire UFO, it was bright too. You know, Benny Barney Hill, it was bright too. There's several crafts. Travis Walton, it was bright too. They had lights as well. Like all of these crafts have these weird lights. I don't really know why it would have these lights, but they all seem to have these lights.
Right.
So it's just strange about all this stuff.
Tis.
What are you thinking right now about the Rendlesham Forest incident?
I think I probably couldn't spell that. I'm fairly on board. I don't have much to push against, really.
Okay. That's
Quite the audio recording.
it is, isn't it?
Nothing's. I mean, I almost said nothing's too out of this world, but it kind of is.
It is a little bit.
It is weird for sure, but there's nothing that's just like blatantly, obviously, something to say. Nah.
Another thing that adds to it is after this happened, other investigators went to go back to check the area, and the area had been bulldozed.
Yeah.
So that's another weird thing that happened. Now, personally, I think this is probably one of the best cases of UFOs when it comes to evidence, when it comes to actual recordings of things, memos that weren't supposed to get out, all this sort of stuff.
What we need is some guy with a fucking iPhone doing like a 20-minute long recording.
That's what we do need. We do need that. But unfortunately, we don't have that yet.
Never have that.
We'll get it someday.
Pictures, drawings, audio recordings, TV reality remakes.
Yeah.
But no just raw 15, 10, 20-minute footage of something weird.
Yeah. No, nothing yet. Unfortunately. We'll get there.
No.
Now, this does seem really well researched. Evidence is taken in. Everything's compiled really well. However, there are some skeptical explanations.
Ooh. People do my job for me. I like it.
So, skeptics genuinely have a reason what Halt saw the night of his recording. What they claim Charles Halt saw was a lighthouse.
How close are they to the ocean here?
Pretty close.
Okay.
Like within miles.
Where? Sorry, I'm gonna look on a map. Where are we right now? What is this place called?
Rendlesham Forest.
Oh yeah, we're fairly close to the water.
So
We're near Woodbridge and Trimley St. Martin,
So here's the thing: is that
Ipswich.
here's the thing is right around this area.
Yep.
There is a lighthouse called the Orfordness Lighthouse, and it shined a light every 5 seconds. It also had a strange red light on it. Now, people say that it was the Orfordness Lighthouse crossed with bright stars and nearby lights from farms is what these men saw. Crossed with ground impressions that were made by animals, coupled with the fact that these witnesses may have been tired, stressed, or influenced by each other's interpretations. And a common skeptical explanation is that the bright red orb was simply the lighthouse beam refracting through the trees. And some skeptics argue that the radiation readings were normal.
Well, there you go.
Here's the thing. That's a crock of shit. Here's why I think it's a crock of shit. These guys, they're there all the time. They know where the lighthouse is. They see the lighthouse light. Also, they claim that they could see the lighthouse from where they were, and that these lights were separate from the lighthouse. Lighthouse lights don't split into 5 different lights and then shoot beams down on the ground and then float through the forest.
Not usually.
Not usually. It'd be a pretty strange lighthouse. Stars in the sky, fuck off with that shit. I hate it when people skeptics are like, they just saw stars. Shut up. No, they're not stars.
What about Jupiter?
Not Jupiter either. Jupiter didn't come down and fucking crank a bunch of soldiers. And ground impressions being made by animals, I highly doubt that, just judging by how equal the triangle was with the impressions. And it matched exactly where a UFO was seen.
That's what you call a coincidence. Correlation doesn't equal causation.
A very strong coincidence. I think it's stupid. People also say that this whole thing was actually just a prank by the SAS soldiers over at Bentwaters.
Couple lads having a giggle.
That's what they think. The reason is because these two bases had a friendly rivalry of sorts, and they were playing pranks on each other, like small ones. However, they claimed the prank was done by the SAS soldiers flying over Rendlesham base, parachuting in, and then lighting flares and explosives off, creating these strange lights. Not only is that an act of war, but also we've confirmed that there were no aircraft over Rendlesham at that point.
I don't think it would be an act of war. They're on their own territory. They weren't doing it in the base.
Still strange.
I would not call that an act of war, though.
Explosions have sounds. Flares have sounds.
The birds are coming.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. They're having
everywhere. They're all around us.
We prepare for this, boys. They break out the muskets.
Oh no, we're stuck between Bromswell and Spratt Street.
Whatever will we do? Oh, run, it's George.
Oh, great heavens.
No, but seriously. This is what they claimed, okay? There's no aircraft in the sky at that night. We've confirmed that. But we do have a strange anomaly on a few radars of this extremely fast object that disappeared over Rendlesham. Also, you know how you hate it when people come forward and are like, anonymous witness? No names, no dates, no nothing.
Yeah, cowards.
For this prank that was allegedly planned on the American soldiers, there are no names, no dates, none of the soldiers came forward. No one said anything about this happening. And there's literally no names attached to it whatsoever. And this most likely came from sources within the military. So no one really thinks that that happened. Skeptics love this theory. They jump around the fact that these guys are liars and they saw a lighthouse and there was a prank. I don't think so. You know why? We have people who got legit health conditions from this, who got military payouts because it was justified that this caused it. Not a prank. Flares, as far as I know, don't cause cancer that quick, or heart murmurs, or heart surgery, or throat issues.
There's a lot
Unless you stick them into the throat.
A lot of chemicals in there.
Unlikely, James. Unlikely. It's very unlikely. Okay, I don't think there's anything to these at all, in my opinion. And for some reason, a lot of skeptics get really angry about this case. Because as much as they like to say all you believers are in a tribal thing and you only want to believe what you want to believe,
yeah,
they're the same way but the opposite. At least not the real skeptics, but like the cynic skeptics. And they will jump on this and be like, you guys are a bunch of fucking stupid idiots. This lie is fucking thicker than horse shit. I don't know, things like that. They'll go on and on forever. Baseless claims. They'll find a reason. Lighthouse, done, without investigating anything else. And everything else points towards that it wasn't a lighthouse.
Was it towards the lighthouse though, where they saw the lights?
The initial lights, yes. But the lighthouse doesn't refract over half a mile into the woods and then shoot beams down into the ground.
Side note,
Mm-hmm.
the lighthouse,
Mhm.
One of the best movies of all time. One of my all-time favorites. I highly recommend everybody watch it. Robert Eggers directed it. A24 produced it. Masterpiece.
I will agree that it's Robert Pattinson's
Willem
best.
Dafoe, Robert Patterson, incredible.
I'd say they're both Pattinson and Defoe's best performance.
Yes.
Still is a weird movie.
Yes.
But anyway, other than your love for the lighthouse, I don't think there's much credence to this being what they saw. Doesn't make much sense to me.
It is inconvenient, though, that it was towards the direction of the lighthouse that
The
they could see from the base.
second night, yes. The first night, no. I think it was a little off from where it was. But according to them, they could see the lighthouse from where they were, and that these lights were separate, and they were splitting, and they were moving.
So there were like one or two pictures of the imprints on the ground. Was there
Yes.
anything from the damage to the trees?
Not from what I could find.
Yeah.
Lots of this information is still classified. Lots of photos that have allegedly been taken are not released. Apparently there was also video cameras that night that have been collected, but those are kind of rumors. I can't confirm or deny if they've all been taken. But I definitely think there's something weird to this. Definitely the initial case around all of this, like the first 2 nights, there's something to it. Another thing people bring up, though, that they say it's all a lie, is Halt's memo was dated December 27th, not December 26th. This all allegedly happened the first night, December 26th. He confuses the entire date up by 1 day. And that leads to every other date being technically incorrect. But the thing is that it started on Boxing Day night, and it went into the 27th the next morning, the whole event.
Okay, so when we were listening to that recording,
Yes.
there were number stamps. Was that timestamps that he was saying out loud?
Timestamps.
Okay, so it was going to well into 3 a.m. then.
That was the second night, yes.
Yes.
And the same thing happened in the first night.
Right.
Is that so when people said, we saw it happen last night, or this was reported the morning of this, so he got the day slightly confused from so every day is just a day ahead. I don't think that's credence that the entire thing's a lie, especially on a classified document. People mistake dates, and dates being mistaken by 1 day is not a big deal, in my opinion. Everyone's human.
Yeah.
I fuck up dates all the time. I'm pretty sure everyone fucks up dates all the time.
I'm currently 15 days in a row working. I have no idea what day it even is.
Exactly. These guys are on a base too. They don't know. So, they may be there, just the days blend as you get older, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I can see
Every day is the same nightmare.
exactly. He also wrote this memo like 2 weeks after the initial report happened. So it's 2 weeks later. He gets the day wrong by a little bit. Not important to me. Now, after this, things did get strange. I do think there's a lot of credence to the initial report,
But
but I think things were added after the fact. Here's what I mean by that. After the fact, both Burroughs and Peniston, they had trouble remembering some things. So when you encounter a UFO and you're having a trouble remembering everything, what do you got to do, James?
embellish, make stuff up, lie.
First, you got to go to regressional hypnotherapy.
Oh, fuck. The OG line. Someone else's line.
So both Burroughs and Peniston went to several regressional hypnotherapy sessions.
I'm not huge on hypnotism.
Unless it's Barney Hill when it's terrifying. Here's the thing.
It's a whatever's more convenient at the time. It's either not real or it's all just suggested stuff implanted kind of into someone's head.
So hypnotherapy is real.
Yeah.
You can get hypnotized.
Sure.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is how much of it is things people remember and how much is it memories being created. That's where it gets iffy. And after several of these hypnotherapy sessions, lots of the stories began to change. People started to add things. They started to say different things happened. And in one of these hypnotherapy sessions, Jim Peniston revealed that when he touched the UFO, information was downloaded into him. And he began seeing codes of ones and zeros.
Oh no.
This is more recent. I'm going to bring this up. I can go deep into it for you, but I don't think it's as important. It claimed to come out in 1994. and he wrote it down in his journal, all the codes. I have pictures of the codes for you if you want.
We were going so strong.
Here's one image of the codes.
Oh yeah.
You get it.
It's ones and zeros.
It's binary.
Does it spell anything out in binary?
Hold on.
Oh.
Hold on. So, there are 16 pages of ones and zeros. He claimed that he wrote these in 1980, but he didn't think anything of it. Apparently it was bothering him, so he just started writing ones and zeros, ones and zeros, ones and zeros in a certain pattern until it started to make him feel better. And then eventually he stopped, and he was okay. It came out in a 1994 hypnotherapy session, according to Beniston. And then, in an interview in 2010, where he was talking about the 30th anniversary of the event, he was flipping through the original notebook and accidentally flipped open to these ones and zero pages. And the interviewer said, "Wait, what's that?" And he went, "Oh, it was just some code I drew back in 1980. The UFO downloaded information in me and I had to get it out." And the guy was like, that could be binary. And Peniston said, "I don't know what binary is." Back then in 1980, binary was kind of a new thing. Computers weren't a big thing really yet. So I could see why someone maybe would not know what binary was. The interviewer was like, "We could send this in and get it translated." So they sent it in and got it translated. I have the translation for you.
I hope it says something about saving the planet.
After being translated, the message says, "Exploration of humanity. ESC," I guess escape, 8100. Continuous for planetary advancement. Eyes of your eyes. Followed by several coordinates. Source year 8100. The coordinates lead to several places, including Caracol, Belize, Sedona, Arizona, the Great Pyramid of Giza, the Nazca Lines in Peru, Taishan in China, the Temple of Apollo in Greece, and the location of a legendary island off the coast of Ireland called High Brazil, which was a supposed island that lots of people mapped about 500 years ago. It's several maps beforehand, but after about the year 1600, this island disappeared. Some people think that it did exist and something happened to it. Some people said it never existed at all and was a trick of the light or something that people just copied off other maps to add to their map. That's for a different episode. There's a lot of rumors about High Brazil. Some say it's a UFO craft. We don't know. Anyway, here's the thing. When I tried to find out who translated this, it seemed to be a lot of independent UFO researchers, some of which helped produce Ancient Aliens. And when you legitimately translate it, you find out that they took a lot of liberties when translating the message. The actual message says, "Exploration Aug Humanity 61UA copyright symbol E upside down exclamation point copyright symbol Q," on and on and on and on, different illegible letters.
Oh yeah.
So here's what I think happened.
I hope no one would notice.
I think that this event actually occurred. We have tapes from it. We have a lot of good documentation. But a big thing was happening in the 1980s, especially with the US government and UFOs. And that was disinformation agents. This is when Richard Doty was starting to do his work. This is when a lot of different disinformation agents were starting to go out into the public and planting seeds of lies to make the truth look silly. I think that Peniston was compromised because his initial story is about this craft and stuff, right? And it's out there. And honestly, no one else saw the craft other than Peniston. Burroughs was frozen. He saw a red ball and he saw it shoot off. Everyone else saw it in the sky, but they didn't get up close like Peniston did, right? And then as time goes on, he's adding these binary codes and a bunch of other things that he's seen. And the thing is that he said that it came out in a hypnotherapy session in 1994. Literally 1 year, almost to the day prior, there was an X-Files episode that came out called Conduit, which was literally the exact same plot.
Oh, we were doing so good.
We were, weren't we?
We were.
Now, this is all stuff that's come out years after.
Yeah.
Okay? This is after the height of disinformation is coming out. This is when all this came out and the US government didn't like it coming out and they started putting out shit, right? Now, I think Peniston initial story may have some credence to it. He was there. We know that. I think eventually he started adding shit in because the government was like, here's some money. Make shit look stupid, right? Same thing happened with crop circles. We've seen it in this era, right? This is things that people were doing. Burroughs' story changes a little bit from time to time. I don't think it's the same as Peniston's. His seems to be more, he adds things from his hypnotherapy sessions, but they're not as out there. His story just kind of seems to be like, sometimes things are added, sometimes they're taken away. I think there's been a lot of things taken in or out from his hypnotherapy sessions. I don't know. Lots of people claim Haltz is just a straight up liar. I don't agree with that. We have him on tape with several other men in the woods all seeing strange lights in the sky. And just because Peniston's story started to become outrageous, I don't think it takes away from the initial story. Because we do have 80 other witnesses on several bases claiming they saw something in the sky and land in the woods. We have farmers not attached to the military at all who said they saw these strange lights. We have radar that caught a strange anomaly that moved 60 miles within 2 seconds at about 1,000 miles an hour. We have all these things. We have a memo that was put out that was classified. We have people who were harmed by the craft with actual radiation-based injuries. These are all things that happened. And in my opinion, I think it happened. A lot of people still to this day say it happened. There was a lot more people than these guys who were on that base that said it happened. But I think some of the guys who were really open about this have been compromised. Peniston has a lot of book deals. Peniston has a lot of TV deals. He made a lot of money through his books and stuff and interviews that he's done. I don't think Peniston's story is the most honest one. But what are you thinking?
I was so on board, and now I'm like, I don't know.
Here's the thing, is that it's just the story after basically 1994 gets weird.
Yeah, but one thing we have talked about several times is you like to say people come out, people tell the truth, people admit when they were hoax and stuff after the fact. This, although not admitting to it, it kind of alludes to it in a way, right?
So here's the argument I have for that.
Yeah.
Is when I say, like, people come out with the hoaxes and stuff that's done, normally that's cryptid cases, most of the time. Because Loch Ness Monster and stuff, it's a fun gag, you get some money, you go on, and then later when you're about to die, you go, haha, we made a joke and we did it and you fell for it.
Yeah.
Or just 20 years later, whenever the fuck you feel like your checks run out. With this, it's a bit different because it's attached to the government. And I think these guys are compromised by the way I think the government's paying them. I think these guys were drafted in as disinformation agents, like Richard Doty, like other guys. Lots of these disinformation agents started as military guys who worked high up in the government, things like that. And that way they have some reputation, and that can really get out there, And if they have an actual real story at first, you can be like, that story's real, but all this other stuff you can tie back to being a lie, which makes their initial story look like a lie. Same thing happened to crop circles. Remember when the guy was trying to make his own independent crop circle research, and then that one guy got in and said he was a CIA agent, and he was trying to recruit him to be a disinformation agent, saying that you could still research and tell all your stories, but if you find a real crop circle, you need to come to me.
Yeah.
Same idea, but except we don't see the behind the scenes on this one. In my opinion, it seems like that, because it's not just these guys who saw something.
When this audio that we listened to, when was that released?
I believe that was released in 1983, but I'm going to double check.
That's how fast those guys had all those health issues?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's what I mean. It's weird. Guys were perfectly healthy before, and lots of them were forced into retirement due to this.
But they were also on a nuclear base.
They were also on a nuclear base. Okay, so it was recorded in December of 1980, first released 1983 or 1984, and started to get wide circulation to the public in 1985. Because lots of the time when they release this unclassified stuff, they don't say, like I've told you before, here's all the unclassified stuff, go have your fun. They just kind of go, there it is, and don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
They put it at the very end of all the documents so you don't see it.
Actual zero incentive to do that, so.
Yeah, exactly. So there's it's unclassified.
Hope no one notices.
We can unclassify it, but we don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
They had to unclassify it because, there was actual medical bills and stuff they had to pay out. They didn't have to tell anyone they unclassified parts of it. I'm sorry, I knew this was going to be a tough part for you. It was a tough part for me too, because I actually didn't know about the binary part until I started researching. I knew about the initial story, because that's a famous story.
Yeah.
But I never got into what happened after. and this caused me to get into what happened after. I know it's hard to believe a case once all this other stuff comes out, but that's what they want you to do. They want you to not believe.
That's what they want you to think, man.
It's true. That's what disinformation agents are for, literally.
They're so good at it.
They are. They're really good at it. That's the thing, is that, the government's dumb. Disinformation agents are really good.
How do I get a job doing that? I can lie and make stuff up through my teeth if I have to. And convincingly.
I know you could. But I think you need a career in military or government work.
You still
first.
think my name is James.
And I'm going to live with that.
I've actually been going by Jim this whole time.
That's what my wife calls you.
She better not.
She does it every time you arrive. She goes, Jim is here.
I'm going to have a word with your wife.
She's like, Jim is walking across the yard right now. Jim is walking through the back door.
I'll use my mean manager voice with her.
Do it. Hey! Anyway, any questions? Anything that you're thinking about with this one? I know it got convoluted near the end, but the initial story is something. Before all this other stuff came out, the initial story was just that.
When did we get the pictures of the hieroglyphs that Buddy drew in his notepad next to the fucking binary?
That came out, I believe, in the 80s. It all came out throughout the 80s.
Yeah.
But
the binary, you said it was 94?
the binary, allegedly came out in a hypnotherapy session in 94, but he did it in 1980, but it came out in an interview on the 30th anniversary of the event in 2010. Here's the problem. Here's the thing. The notebook has been carbon dated, and it was used at the time. The initial drawings at least seem to be something that happened at the time. I don't know about the binary codes, but the thing is that he showed this notebook in several documentaries, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, of things that he drew, and there was no mention or flip to a page with the binary. It only happened when he was flipping through the pages in this 2010 interview on the 30th anniversary of the event. Oh yeah, I also wrote all this binary code, but I didn't think it was mean anything. It was just information downloaded to me from the UFO.
The entire book's going to have the same carbon date. It was made at the same time.
I know. But people say that the writing and stuff, so like this was all done like back in the 1980s. This was from back then. This was his notepad from back then.
Right.
That's kind of all that confirms. Again, if you take Peniston away from this, you have all these people who saw lights in the sky. You have military bases that were concerned about these lights. You have radars that were catching strange blips on the radar. You have all these other things. I just believe Peniston started taking money to muddy the waters for the government. That's what I think. Because once you take him out, the story's a lot more credible.
Yeah.
Like you take away from him, like his story is like, I got up to the UFO, I touched it, I drew the hieroglyphs, right? Take that out. You still have Burroughs seeing a red ball in the woods and then flashing a missing time that went up into the air. They both were missing 45 minutes at time. They were lost on the base. They actually had search parties trying to find them. They were gone. That's true.
I mean, time flies when you're having fun though, right?
Okay, don't give me any bullshit like that. I know. I understand. But
when I said, whoa, we've been recording for 42 minutes, it didn't feel like 42 minutes. It felt like at least 21.
Don't lie. You don't have fun here.
I didn't say I was having fun. I just said it felt like less time than it was.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Never accuse me of having fun.
I never do. I torture you here. I chain you to a
Don't
seat.
do that to me!
What the audience doesn't see is that you are chained to this table at the moment.
Yeah, like flat on it, too. I'm chained on my back to this table.
Yep. I got a knife dangling above you. Every answer I don't like, it lowers. Anyway, if you take out Peniston and all the lies he told after the fact, the initial story, the initial memo, the fact that we have indentations in the ground, broken tree limbs, radiation, scorch marks, thermal, jeeps turning off by themselves after encountering bright lights, radar. What else do you want me to say? There's so many other things other than the lies Peniston told that are still interesting. Plus all the health conditions that all the soldiers had who encountered this thing.
They weren't that bad of conditions. Everyone's still alive.
Still, they had health conditions that caused them to retire from the army.
Bitchitis. You're not killed in the line of duty, you're basically a pussy.
I want that on your tombstone. I want that. Died robbing a 7-Eleven. Doesn't have to be a good line of duty.
Give me some of your money.
Bang, 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 bang.
He's reaching for the cash register. Bang, bang, bang.
He's got a gun.
Yeah, me looking in the mirror. The reflection in the hot dog glass.
I'm picturing you at a 7-Eleven, like, drunk off your ass. You got a gun! Putting it at the hot dog glass, seeing yourself in the reflection. Damn it.
It could happen.
You would win a debate just by saying the outlandish shit you say and getting someone off track enough that their time's up.
I do like to catch people off guard.
And you catch me off guard a lot. So, there's that. Anyway, let's get back to this.
Sure. If it pleases, sire.
James, right now, what are you thinking about the Rendlesham Forest incident?
I don't know. You kind of busted up my kneecaps there. I was 100% on board. And now I'm like less on board. But I'm still kind of on board.
The thing is that you're focusing on the last bit I told you, which was Peniston.
That's the last bit I heard. I'm like a goldfish.
I know. But again, think about all the other things that happened.
That's why if you ever watch a debate, you're going to choose whoever gives the final words.
I want you to focus
That's
on...
why they do that.
I want you to focus on everything else that happened, other than Peniston. I told you right now, I didn't say Peniston stuff was honest. I am of the belief that I don't think it's true. But I think the original event happened, and I think Peniston was used as a tool to muddy it up. There's too much there.
Yeah.
To say that nothing happened. 80 witnesses that have come forward.
Did you say were there any witnesses at the
Waters?
Yeah, the British base there?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, this was 80 people who've come forward between Bentwaters and Woodbridge.
Right.
Yeah. So we have both bases saying they saw it, radar at other airports saying they saw something, and farmers in the area saying they saw strange lights.
And animals making noises.
Yes. Another thing that's weird is after this, several locals were approached by men in black suits, asking them if they had seen anything strange.
The men in black making another comeback.
Making a comeback, brother.
They're mind erasing devices.
They didn't have the mind erasing devices. But people reported men in suits encountering them in pairs, in black cars, asking if they had seen anything strange. And when the people said they didn't know what they were talking about, they didn't even say goodbye. They just got back in their cars and left. And that's from several people in the area. So weird stuff.
I'd say.
Also, to this day, the trail in Rendlesham is called the UFO Trail. And they actually have a sculpture of the UFO in the area where it landed.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll show you that.
Is it radioactive?
No, it is not. Here is the picture of the UFO on the UFO Trail. Are you reading all the graffiti?
No. I was just taking a gander at the size of it. It's like, oh, that looks really small. Then I was like, but it's probably accurate because it looks about how the size was described with
9 feet by 9
the
feet.
9 feet footprints apart.
Yep.
Which is small.
It's not very big.
It's very small.
Yeah.
Especially if it splits into 5 things somehow. Now that's something. There's been a couple times where we've seen crafts or whatever, and then they kind of split up.
Yep.
No part of that looks like it's able to split up.
No.
Given I know that's just some sculpture. I know that. But these descriptions and stuff, including like even the Phoenix Lights one, it seems like one thing.
Yep. Although there were some reports that the Phoenix Lights split up too.
Yeah, no, well, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
It kind of seemed like one object and then it splits up somehow.
Yes. And also, Peniston's the one who saw the craft in the triangular shape. Burroughs saw a red ball of light, which is the same thing that Halt and the other 5 men saw.
That's right, and that's very different. That's a very different thing.
Yes, and I don't know if that's because... I don't know if that's because Peniston went closer to the object, allegedly.
Yeah.
But all I know is that the red ball was seen by several men who went into the woods. Not just Burroughs, but also those other 5 men, which we have on audio, when they witnessed it.
Right.
That's what I mean. Take the Peniston thing out of it. Everything else around it is really, really interesting.
You said so many names, I can't remember who said what.
Okay, so Peniston was the guy
Peniston's the liar.
Yeah, he's the guy who touched the craft, allegedly.
Yeah.
Burroughs was the guy who was with Peniston who froze in time.
touched the craft and is still alive to this day. That's enough reason to not believe him right there.
I don't really believe it.
Yeah.
Burroughs, I believe more than Peniston. Holt was the one who had the group of men with him who went into the woods when they saw the UFO the second time.
With the recorder.
With the recorder. He's the one who put out the memo. And he was the deputy commander of the base. And that memo wasn't for public. It was for the higher-ups.
Yeah.
And it got declassified. Those are the parts that are interesting. All the witnesses. I don't know what else I can say. I showed you audio.
We shouldn't say too much more then. Let's go to conclusions.
All right, let's go to conclusions. So, James, today, on the case of the Rendlesham Forest incident, we have over 80 witnesses that have come forward that include military men from both air bases, plus farmers in the local area. We have radar blips, strange anomalies of something going way faster than anything humanly possible. We have strange lights in the forest and in the sky. We have malfunctioning equipment like cars and lights. We have a strange red ball seen by several men and allegedly a craft with hieroglyphics, which has been seen on other craft, I will say. Roswell and also the Kecksburg UFO incident that is commonly seen, but it's said by Peniston, so who knows. We have broken branches, an indentation that matches the size of the craft seen that's perfectly aligned 9 feet by 9 feet by 9 feet in between each indentation in an equilateral triangle. We have the second night with the Halt recording, where several men in the forest saw strange lights going through the woods, blasting beams of light within 20 feet of them, which we all have on audio. We can hear their live reaction to whatever happened, which was also supposed to be classified, but we only got 17 minutes of the audio, the rest of it is still classified. We have the Halt memo describing what happened that night that was supposed to only go up the chain, but came out 3 years later when soldiers started getting sick and said this event is what caused it, and the military had to admit that it was real, or that at least something happened, so that they could get their payment. Also, we have the military saying that these men were never in the military and covering up their records later to say that they were in the military, and also classifying their medical records that are still classified to this day, I mind you. And we have thermal readings. We have strange marks on the trees where this thing landed. We have radiation. It goes on and on and on. Other than Peniston, who I think became a disinformation agent, we have a lot of things that show this case could be legitimate. On our scale from 1 to 5. 1, I'm an idiot. 2, you're skeptical. 3, you're on the fence. 4, there's something strange here. 5, there were strange lights over Bentwaters and Woodbridge Air Base. And men encountered something that they cannot explain. Where do you come down to today?
I think today come down to like a loose 4.
Let's fucking go, okay? We'll take it! Oh my god! I was so fucking scared when I had to bring up the Peniston shit, but I wasn't gonna lie to you.
The 17 minutes of raw audio but 17 minutes of audio did a lot of the heavy lifting.
It did. I'm glad
Did
I
we
had
listen
it.
the full 17 minutes?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I had to play. I was like, I'm not gonna clip it for you. I said I need to play all of this. I was like, I'm gonna prove this one tonight. I'm gonna get him over the fence at least.
That was a very fast 17 minutes.
Because it was compelling.
It was.
Very interesting.
It was compelling.
Oh, I just feel like an 80-pound weight was taken off my shoulders. I was so nervous for this episode. I was like, the whole time I was researching it, I was like, this one is like in the bag. I'm like, this one's gonna be no problem. I think I can get him over the fence, even like a mid-3, and at least. And then I came across the binary shit that I never heard before, and I was like, oh, he's gonna take this and run with it. I was so scared.
I was trying not to put too much weight into Buddy at the end there.
That's what I had to do too, because I had to go back and research the whole thing again, and I was like,
It would be different if he said that it was a hoax or something afterwards, but him just running with it like people do as they embellish and lie and change the stories is like, fuck.
yes, that's the thing. I think he's compromised.
There's definitely some kind of fishy stuff, and I don't know if everything should be taken at face value, but it definitely seems like something happened.
Something happened.
Weird happened.
I think so.
And I think that was the threshold for 4. It was something weird happened, so.
I think so too. I'm a 5. I'm positive something strange happened, and I think it was extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, I feel so much better. Thank you for listening, everybody. I got James to a 4 on the Rendlesham Forest UFO incident, and I am so stoked on that. I think something strange happened here. James thinks something strange happened here. I think you got to be pretty ignorant to think at least nothing happened here. I think something at least happened here with that.
Huge thank you to people who have listened to us since we started over the last year.
Yes, thank you so much. This podcast is... I don't think we even expected this to get anywhere.
I sure didn't.
Yeah, but now
I
we
still
have...
don't.
Well, we're doing something right. People seem to like us, and we have listeners in 46 different countries now.
At least 46 of you use VPNs. Very smart thing to do these days.
Very smart, very smart. It makes me feel good. Keep it up.
If you don't know what a VPN is, it's too late for you, I'm afraid.
You're compromised.
Yeah.
That's okay. Thank you for listening, everybody. Here's to another year. If you like what we're doing here, please follow us on all of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. The link is in the description of every episode and our bio. That's where we post all of the case photos and updates for the show. If you enjoy what we're doing here, please rate and follow on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, wherever you listen to this podcast. It really goes a long way. Also, share with your friends. Word of mouth is the best advertisement, and it is free. Also, if you have any case ideas, if I missed something and you want to correct me, or if you have evidence from your own cases, you can email us at darkdosandpod@gmail.com. With that, James, any words to the wise?
Don't be afraid to go bombing around in the bush with the boys after the Christmas party. You might just see a Christmas miracle.
Wise words from a wiser man. See you on the next one, everybody. Thank
Merry
you for
Christmas,
listening.
everyone. Bye-bye.